The following video is about Nate, who still hasn't been able to figure out what exactly he's dealing with, or what approach to use to make it stop. Over time, the activity in his house hasn't faded or stabilized. It's escalated. He's started waking up with unexplained scratches on his body, hearing footsteps when no one else is home, and noticing areas of the house where his dog refuses to go. But this particular morning was different. Watch closely.
All right, guys. Still kind of shaking a little bit here. So, I was upstairs. It's just me here, me and the dog. Wife left. I was upstairs, brushing my teeth. And from below me, like where my feet were, which would be the kitchen, I was hearing what sounded like knocks, which would be on the kitchen ceiling. Then it stopped. Once it stopped, I figured, okay, no big deal. So I came down. I was getting ready to cut some oranges. Came over to get the one I always use, the knife I always use to cut fruit and vegetables and stuff. And it's not there. So I figured, oh, it must be dirty. No. Kind of stood for a minute, and then like, what the f on here? Like, in this house. This is a different level. This is not right. This is not. This is not okay. This is not okay. It's in there pretty. So I'm guessing that was the sound I was hearing from below my feet. Because the bathroom is right on the other side of this, so that's how my morning started. Just wanted some oranges.
Objects found in positions like this, especially heavy or sharp objects, are often associated with aggressive poltergeist activity, where force and intent seem to be involved. This isn't something falling, tipping, or sliding. Something had to exert pressure to get it there. And when Nate says, "This is not okay," there's something else. A faint voice responding. It's difficult to make out, but undeniably there. Almost as if whatever caused this is aware it's been noticed. Another morning, Nate is home alone when he notices something peeking out from his basement. At first, he tries to come up with logical reasons: shadows, lighting, his eyes adjusting. But the sense of being watched didn't go away. Eventually, he grabbed his camera, and here's what he caught.
Guys, check it out. Something was peeking. Right out. From the basement. I wanted to see if we can catch it. The end of it. But it was like right by the bed. What the? This has been the third morning in a row. Like clockwork. I might have to look back, but it might be around the same times as well. I don't understand. There's nothing. And then I was hearing steps coming down those stairs, but there's nothing. Guys. I don't know, guys. Maybe we can try. What was that?
For many viewers, the most unsettling part isn't even the shape peeking from the basement, it's the whispering. Some people believe they can hear words being formed, while others say it sounds like incoherent murmuring. What makes this harder to dismiss is Nate's claim that this hasn't been a one-time occurrence. He says it's been happening almost every morning, always from the same spot, as if something is watching and waiting. After several people weighed in, many pointed out a recurring detail in Nate's updates. His house is almost always dark, and some believe that prolonged darkness, combined with emotional stress and fear, can intensify paranormal activity, creating an environment where whatever is present feels undisturbed, comfortable, or even encouraged. Then Nate shared another update, one that only made the situation more mysterious. Listen carefully.
I want to share a little update on the activity and something that happened last night. I'm only putting this out there to maybe get some advice or answers, or if anybody has experienced something like this. So I was in a dream. I was dreaming that I was in my house, and something had come and woken me up and told me to follow it downstairs. It needed to show me something. So I followed it downstairs, but the whole time my eyes couldn't adjust to what I was following. It was just a figure. Couldn't tell if it was male or female. It was shorter than me. I'm 6 feet. It was shorter than me. That's all I can make out. It was like a, not a mist, but it was like not a full formed shape, if that makes any sense. But it's a dream, so I figured, anyways, I follow it downstairs into the middle of the dining room, and it just lifts up and points its arm towards the basement. I didn't know what it was trying to tell me, but then instantly there was this loud wake up, but it didn't come from the figure. I immediately woke up, but when I woke up, I was standing in my dining room. I have never, ever had an issue of sleepwalking. Never in my life, at least that I know of, or remember, or have ever been told that I sleepwalk. So, I don't know if it was a dream. I don't know if it was a lucid dream. I don't know if I was sleepwalking. But has anybody ever experienced something like this? Because I am at a loss what it means. If there's a reason behind it.
He believes that whatever woke him may have been a warning, possibly his spirit guides, stopping him from going into the basement. From his perspective, the whispers, the peeking, and the activity all seem like attempts to lure him closer to whatever is down there. But others see it completely differently. Some believe the voice that woke him wasn't protecting him at all, but guiding him. That whatever is happening in the basement holds the answers to what he's been experiencing, and whatever else is in the house doesn't want him finding out. That the whispers, distractions, and fear are meant to keep him away. So now the question is, was Nate being warned, or was he being invited? And if something does want him in that basement, the real question is why. I'd love to hear your thoughts. In this next video, Kyle found an abandoned house and decided to do a quick walkthrough, filming the inside to show his partner later. He went in expecting the usual things explorers look for: scattered belongings, traces of past lives, maybe old furniture frozen in time, but what he captured turned out to be something very different. Have a look. Just in case you missed it, within the first few seconds of the video, there are several details that immediately stand out. A black cat is seen inside the abandoned house, which is strange on its own, considering how rarely animals stay inside unstable, empty structures for long. In medieval European folklore, black cats were believed to be familiars, supernatural beings or animal-shaped entities said to assist in dark practices. They weren't viewed as ordinary animals, but as extensions of something else, something unseen. In other cultures, black cats were considered omens of death. One 16th century Italian superstition even claimed that if a black cat lay on a sick person's bed, death would soon follow. Because of these beliefs, the presence of a black cat in an already badly abandoned, decaying structure has long been associated with places thought to be spiritually active. Almost immediately after he saw the black cat, a door was shaking violently, even though no one else was inside the building. There's no visible draft, no footsteps, no movement nearby that would explain it. On top of that, faint orbs drift through the frame, and an odd sound can be heard in the background. But one of the most unsettling details is something Kyle himself didn't even notice at the time. What's unsettling is how layered the activity feels. The cat, the shaking door, the orbs, and the sound. None of them happen in isolation, and together they create the sense that Kyle may not have been as alone as he thought. But it's not just his experiences at abandoned places that keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. For context, Kyle is someone who frequently explores abandoned places, and his partner happens to collect strange dolls. So when he shared what things look like at home, many viewers weren't surprised, but they were still disturbed. Watch this.
Just got home from work. This needs to stop. I need help, please. Going to explore it later.
When she got home, the door was rattling like someone was trying to get out, but the moment she entered, there's no one there, and the doll by the window was no longer there. No one entered the room, no one touched it, it was simply gone. Some viewers believe the activity from the abandoned house may have followed him home, not necessarily attached to him, but drawn to familiar objects, especially dolls, which are often believed to act as conduits or focal points for paranormal energy. Others think it's something that was already present in their home, and that Kyle's exploration may have stirred it up. According to Kyle and his partner, they don't feel threatened by whatever is happening. They describe it as more of an annoyance than anything else. Objects moving, small disturbances, things being misplaced and reappearing. Nothing violent or aggressive, but that's where many people begin to worry, because paranormal activity rarely stays the same forever. What starts as harmless or playful behavior can escalate over time, especially if it's being acknowledged, recorded, or unintentionally encouraged. The fact that they don't feel threatened now doesn't necessarily mean it will always stay that way. So is this something that's simply coexisting with them, or is it still figuring out how far it can go? I'll leave you to be the judge on this one. Now in this next clip, Nick has been documenting the strange activity that's been following him, not just at home, but at work. At his store, Nick installed security cameras everywhere, and according to him, there are very few nights where nothing strange happens. Chairs shift on their own, objects fall over no matter how carefully they're placed. Items that were stable moments earlier suddenly end up on the floor. And there have even been times when he's returned to the store only to find windows cracked, despite no signs of forced entry. And when he gets home, it doesn't stop. Watch this.
Is there anyone here that can give me a sign? And something just fell off the counter, right in front of my face. Holy shit! Okay, is there anyone here? Yay, that was fun. Love this room. Just again, this is... Oh my god, my camera won't even focus. Hello? Can you use the dream catch? Okay, my camera's not even focusing. This is so weird. Can you use the dream catcher again to try to communicate with me, please? Okay. I think it made a sound out here again. Hello?
In this video, Nick asks for a sign, and almost immediately, objects begin falling. While some viewers see this as confirmation of paranormal activity, others warn that asking for signs isn't always a good idea. On one hand, some believe that spirits responding to direct questions may indicate intelligence or awareness, possibly a presence trying to communicate. Especially when the response is immediate, it can feel like validation that someone or something is listening. But on the other hand, many people argue that inviting responses, even unintentionally, can escalate activity. Asking for signs is often seen as giving permission, opening a door rather than simply observing what's already there. And once something realizes it's being acknowledged, the activity can increase in both frequency and intensity. Another detail viewers couldn't ignore is the presence of several floating orbs throughout the footage. While skeptics argue these could be dust or insects reflecting light, others point out that the orbs appear at moments of heightened activity, drifting, changing direction, and lingering in ways that don't seem random. Because the activity follows Nick from place to place, many people believe Nick himself may be the focal point. Not the house, not the store, but him. Some say he could be unknowingly carrying something attached to him. Others take it a step further, suggesting the presence may be something darker, possibly even demonic, feeding off attention or fear. Nick, clearly unsettled, has been asking for advice on how to make it stop. Take a look at the security footage from his store. This footage only strengthened the theory that whatever is causing the disturbances at both locations is attached to Nick. The activity mirrors what happens at his home. Objects moving without explanation, sudden shifts in the environment, and no visible cause. The consistency between both locations makes it harder to argue coincidence or environmental factors. If the house were haunted, the store wouldn't be affected. If the store were the problem, the activity wouldn't follow him home. That's what makes this case so unsettling. It suggests something mobile, something that isn't bound by walls or locations, something that goes where he goes. And until Nick shares more updates or finds a way to stop what's happening, this case remains a mystery. But what you think? Is Nick haunted or is he being followed? In the following video, the man behind the camera keeps moving through what looks like a storage area, the kind of tight corridor where every box and shadow feels like it has weight. And you can tell he is already on edge as he scans each corner with the camera. He stops when he notices a door that should never be opened during the investigation, sitting cracked just enough to make the hallway feel wrong, and he slowly leans in to look behind it, even though the team is nowhere nearby.
La puerta se abre y se cierra sola.
Se está abriendo esa puerta. No hay nadie. Y por acá también se escucha ruido.
He finds the door opening a crack, so opens it and checks behind it just to see nothing. Because of this, he walks away and the door shuts by itself as a strange noise starts playing behind it, and he speed walks out of the hallway. The second that door slams, you can see his whole body tense, because that wasn't wind, and it definitely wasn't timing or coincidence. And the noise that follows sounds like something trying to push through the wall just to remind him he is not supposed to be there. His footsteps turn into a full speed walk that almost looks like he wants to run, but refuses to make noise, and every few seconds he glances back like he expects the door to open again. Moments like that show exactly why investigators always say curiosity is one thing, but when the building answers you on its own, that is when you learn how fast fear can move. It was late enough that the local markets should have felt peaceful, but every shutter was pulled down tight and the whole place looked abandoned, except for May cutting through the empty rows. She knew the place was closed and shouldn't have held any noise at all, which is why the first faint scream stopped her in her tracks, sounding like someone crying out in pain from deep inside the metal-covered stalls. She followed it slowly, each step making the sound grow sharper and more desperate, until it felt like it was right beside her, but no matter where she turned, there was never anyone there.
Imagínate andar por la central de abastos y oír esto.
The screaming and crying keep getting louder as she walks, yet she can't find the source even when it sounds feet away. By the time she reached the end of the walkway, the noise was so overwhelming it felt like it was coming from the walls, and she spun around expecting someone to stumble out, but the shutters were sealed tight like they hadn't moved in hours. That was the moment she realized she wasn't chasing a person at all, and the way the sound cut off instantly once she stopped filming, almost like it knew she understood, made the silence after feel even worse. May had walked straight into something trying to be heard, and the fact that it never showed itself only made it clearer that she had been listening to a ghost. It happened late in the evening when the house was already settling into that quiet that makes every shadow seem a little thicker, and Charlie kept tugging at his dad's sleeve, saying there was a scary boy standing across the room staring at him. His dad brushed it off at first, calling it pretend, but Charlie wasn't smiling or joking. He just kept insisting the boy was real and he didn't want to be near him. Eventually, the dad told him to show where this scary boy was, so Charlie nervously walked with him through the hall and stopped at a doorway, pointing inside with his hands shaking like he expected something to move.
What are you saying, Charlie? There's a scary boy where? What do you mean? What, are you doing pretend? Yeah, you're just playing pretend, aren't you? Do you want to show me? Show me then. Come on. You show me where he is. This is actually fucking mad. Where? Where? In there? In there? Okay, get ready, Charlie. No scary boy. No, there's nothing there, mate. Do you want me to go in? Look. There's absolutely nothing in here. You've got nothing to be scared about. I've absolutely shit myself. There's nothing to be scared about. There's nothing here. That's just the bathroom. Nothing there, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. That's just the shower. Never been more scared in my entire life. See, told you. Nothing there, mate. Perfect. Come on. Let me see thee.
The father opens the door and sees nothing, while Charlie refuses to step past the threshold. The moment the door swings open to an empty room, the dad turns back confused, but Charlie steps back like he's afraid something invisible is right in front of him, claiming that the scary boy is still there, even if his dad can't see him. That kind of fear doesn't come from pretending, and the way Charlie wouldn't even look into the room made the dad realize this wasn't just a kid's imagination. It was something he couldn't explain, and something Charlie clearly wished he hadn't noticed at all. It was supposed to be a quiet night in Braden's room, but the ceiling kept creaking with slow, heavy footsteps, even though nobody was home, and there shouldn't have been anything moving above him at all. He sat still for a second, trying to convince himself it was the house settling, but the steps were too steady, too human, so he grabbed his flashlight and started walking through the dark halls with that kind of nervous focus where every sound feels closer than it should.
Wow, it's really bad right now. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Okay, hold up. Why is the tree on there? Whatever that is coming from up here. Should I attempt to go in there? Because that
was coming, all that thumping, it was coming from like right in there, in that room. What the?
He points his flashlight upstairs and hears his own exact voice say, "Come up for a sec." The way the voice coming down the stairs matched his tone perfectly meant he froze, because there was no way his own voice should be calling him from a place where nobody was standing. It wasn't an echo, and it wasn't a trick of the house. It sounded like something pretending to be him just to get his attention. He didn't step closer. He didn't even breathe for a moment, because when something upstairs can mimic you perfectly, the last thing you want to do is give it the chance to talk again. The following video was captured amidst a normal slow night at the sneaker shop, the kind where the worker is just sweeping the floor and straightening boxes while the CCTV quietly records every corner of the room. Nothing feels off until the air suddenly shifts a little, just enough to make him pause, and the camera catches him glancing toward the back like he sensed something move. As he keeps cleaning, the door to the back of the shop slams shut on its own, even though nothing is near it. He jumps and stares because there's no draft, no co-workers, no reason for it to slam with that much force, and the CCTV angle shows the room behind it is completely empty. It's the kind of movement that looks deliberate, like something wanted to make itself noticed, and the way he slowly backs away from the doorway says everything. Even in a brightly lit shop, surrounded by sneakers and shelves, that door made it clear he wasn't alone at all. The same sneaker shop is open now, customers walking around and the place feeling completely normal, like nothing strange had ever happened there. And one of the workers is helping a guy try on a new pair he picked from the wall. They're chatting casually as the customer slips the sneakers on. Then he walks over toward the mirror to get a better look, while the worker follows a few steps behind, totally unaware that the cameras are still watching every corner and about to capture something crazy.
Yeah, I'm going, bro. Arrow, pretty cool. He's trying not to take it on that slow. Hell no.
As the customer stands in front of the mirror, a single sneaker from the display wall drops to the floor on its own, with no one near it, causing both of them to panic and run. The moment that sneaker hits the ground, they both whip around because it didn't slide. It didn't wobble off. It fell straight down like something knocked it loose with intention. You can see the confusion turn into fear instantly, and the worker doesn't even try to explain it before bolting toward the front door with the customer right behind him. It feels like whatever slammed the back door before was still there, waiting for another chance to be noticed, and that single falling sneaker was enough to send them both running. The shop had only been open for 12 minutes when the man working started saying something was moving around in the attic, and the walls, like the whole building, was settling wrong, and the fact that the store next door was abandoned made every sound feel way more isolated than it should. He walked around the aisles with his camera, trying to prove he wasn't imagining it, and the second he passed the back corner, he heard a hard knock hit behind the wall, like something was following him from the other side.
Okay, we have literally been open for 12 minutes. There is so much stuff happening right now that I don't even understand it. So I'm going to show you. No one's on the cameras. There's stuff coming from the attic and in the walls again. And if you look it up, the store next to us doesn't exist. They went out of business. No one's here. Hello? Hello? Did you hear the knock? Hello? Can you knock again? Oh my. What the? It's honestly a great day to be haunted. I'm just recording right from it. I don't know if the machines are so loud, but there's so much knocking coming from the attic. This is insane. Like literally. Okay. I'm gonna throw up. I'm not ready for this. It is too early for this. We're not even open. Hello? Is there a reason you're so active right now? My Jesus Christ! What the fuck is that? I can't fake that. Holy cow. Okay, wait. I'm gonna try to do one continuous video proving that nobody's up here. Oh my god. I have goosebumps. Wow, this ain't even a TikTok. Okay. I'm just... God. Okay, it literally just stopped. Okay, can't show the code. Something literally flew off the wall. Bro. Spirit, is there a reason you're so upset today? Oh my goodness, Jesus, I don't even know where to go. Okay. Holy, look at this. I'm a little actually scared right now because this is in the morning. We don't usually experience this much in the morning.
The knocks keep happening as he circles the store, most of them coming from the attic, and the place isn't even open yet, so there is no way it could be a prankster customer. He pulls down the attic ladder and loud banging erupts above him before going silent. But right as he says it stopped, more knocks explode across the ceiling and something is thrown off the wall. He shows the item on the floor through the CCTV feed. When the object hits the ground, he freezes because that wasn't just noise, it was force, and the attic ladder hanging open behind him makes it feel like something could climb down at any second. He stands there breathing hard while staring into the dark above, and the silence that follows feels like the building is waiting for him to move so it can answer again. Ian, a ghost hunter in the Midwest, entered a decaying factory that locals claimed was haunted. The air was thick with dust and the faint smell of rust, and the silence made every creak echo like a warning. He set up his equipment, hoping to communicate with whatever lingered in the shadows, and immediately something responded.
Who are you? Whoa. Sir, why do you still haunt this tannery? But you said railing. Railing. Like fell over the railing. Are you saying that you died on these catwalks? And that you fell? Whoa. It sounded like that's what happened. Jesus, this is so crazy. Thank you, sir, for communicating with me. Is there anything you would like to say? Sounded like it said work. Are you going back to work? Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you get back to work then, if that's the case.
The voice was faint but clear, saying, "Lost my balance." Ian asked why it haunted the place, and the reply came simply, "Railing." Piecing it together, he assumed the spirit had fallen from the railing in life, and the ghost confirmed that's what happened. Feeling a mix of relief and awe, Ian thanked the spirit for sharing its story, then gave it one last chance to speak. The final words whispered back, "It's working," leaving Ian with the eerie sense that the factory still held secrets, and that even in death, some connections lingered longer than expected. Inside the Lizzie Borden house, specifically the Abby and Andrew suite, a location already known for its haunted reputation, an investigator named Kyle is exploring on his own. As he tries to enter the suite, the door repeatedly locks on him despite there being no one inside. The resistance alone is strange, but what waits beyond is worse. When he finally starts recording and manages to get in, the entire room is lit in an intense red glow, giving everything an unnatural, heavy atmosphere as he slowly moves through the space.
Trying to enter the Abby and Andrew suite at the Lizzie Borden house. The door locked on me with no one in there. This is really terrifying.
At one point, a door inside the suite closes by itself, with no one near it. Another detail investigators point out is how the camera suddenly goes out of focus right as he enters, something often considered a sign that it may be trying to focus on something not visible to the eye. Between the locking door, the shifting focus, and movement happening on its own, the suite feels less like an empty room and more like a space already occupied by something unseen. In the same house, but at a different time, another moment was captured that made the activity feel even more deliberate. Ahead of the camera was a doorway, and the door itself began sliding back and forth on its own, slowly moving just enough to reveal the terrifying doll that was inside the room, then drifting back to hide it again, over and over, like something unseen was controlling the exact moment of exposure. The motion was smooth and controlled, not like it was swinging from a draft, but gliding in a way that felt intentional.
This is happening again. I will show you no one is there.
After repeating this several times, the door suddenly stopped moving altogether. The stillness that followed felt heavier than the motion itself. Kyle decided he had seen enough. He stepped out of the room and kicked the nearby doll far down the hall, putting distance between himself and the space, leaving the house with even more questions about what might be sharing it with visitors. Another moment from the same location adds even more to the tension inside the house. In a separate clip, a wooden door can be seen trying to open on its own, quickly pulling inward, except the metal chain lock is the only thing stopping it from fully opening. The pressure on the door looks constant, like something on the other side is testing it, pushing just enough to make the chain tighten and rattle.
This place is so haunted. Locked. Bathroom empty. Help!
Not long after, Kyle attempts to enter a different room, but the door resists him, pushing back as if someone unseen is holding it shut from the other side. He tries again, confused and uneasy, but the resistance doesn't change, making it feel less like a stuck door and more like something actively keeping him out. The combination of doors moving on their own and spaces refusing entry is enough for him. Kyle leaves the house shortly after, clearly disturbed, with the feeling that whatever is inside doesn't just exist there, it controls who is allowed in. Antonio was inside his house when something small but deeply unsettling happened right in front of him. A toy bicycle, the kind you'd expect a child to ride, suddenly began gliding across the floor on its own, rolling smoothly from one room into an adjacent one with no one near it. The movement wasn't jerky or accidental, it was steady and direct, like it had a destination. The quiet of the house only made it worse, the wheels faintly echoing as it crossed the floor.
Claudia,
The detail that makes the moment even more disturbing is what that toy represents. There are children in the home. Luckily, none of them were there at the time, which makes the situation feel less like a coincidence and more like something happened when the house was at its most vulnerable. Antonio is left staring after it, realizing this wasn't just an object moving, it was something choosing to move it. The next day, Antonio was trying to have a number 2 in peace when the activity followed him again. Sitting in the bathroom, already on edge after what happened with the toy bicycle, he noticed the door ahead of him slowly creak open on its own. He froze, staring at it, when it suddenly slammed shut. A few seconds later, it opened again and slammed a second time, louder, more aggressive. After a short pause, the pattern continued, the door opening slightly, then slamming with force, over and over, like something was toying with the timing. There was no draft, no one else in the house, and no logical reason for the movement to repeat so consistently. The sound echoed through the hallway each time, making the small bathroom feel even more enclosed. Antonio was left sitting there, unable to ignore the fact that whatever had moved the toy the day before now seemed to be following him from room to room. With no further updates, we have no idea how safe Antonio currently is, so we can only hope and pray. A group of friends were spending time together at a forest park, casually messing around while 3 of them helped one of their daughters on a swing. It seemed like a normal, light-hearted moment. Laughter, movement, nothing out of the ordinary. Their focus stayed on the child, making sure she was safe and having fun, and none of them paid attention to what was happening behind them.
Gente, denle despacito, no me la vayan a mandar al árbol arriba. No bajen los pies. Ahí era la buena.
No bajen los pies.
Oh, no. ¿Cómo se la cura, güey?
Es que está bien flaquillo ese bastón.
¿No viste? Parece que se levanta como... Te toca ña. Sí se fue bien derechita. Yo no fui a tío Lalo. El último sigue Brian porque dice que no dice nada.
In the background, partially hidden between the trees, a strange and deeply uncanny figure could be seen moving through the woods. Its shape was vaguely human, but the way it moved was wrong, too stiff in some moments, too fluid in others, making it look unnatural. It lingered only briefly before slipping out of frame, unnoticed by everyone there. When viewers later spotted it in the footage, the moment changed from wholesome to disturbing, because whatever that was, it did not look like a normal person just passing through the forest. A woman was out walking along a trail she usually takes when she noticed something sitting off to the side of the path. It was a camera, partially hidden but clearly placed there, and when she picked it up, she saw what looked like dried blood on the casing. The discovery immediately made the situation feel serious, but one detail stood out even more. The camera still had battery left, which meant there could be footage saved on it. She was unsure what she might find if she turned it on. The quiet trail suddenly feeling very different than it had minutes before.
You're not gonna believe this. I just found a camera out here with something that looks like it could be blood on it. I have no idea, but I think there's still some battery on it, so there could be some footage on here. Should I look at it?
Instead of checking it right away, she asked viewers whether she should look through the footage at all, knowing whatever was on there could explain why it was left there, or make the situation far more disturbing than it already seemed. She eventually decided to share what was on the camera, posting the footage for others to see. The video begins with a slow 360 view of the forest, the lens turning steadily, capturing the quiet trees and empty trail from every angle. At first, nothing seems out of place, just still woods and distant shadows between the branches. During the rotation, a black figure can briefly be seen standing among the trees before quickly slipping behind one, disappearing from view as if it knew it had been caught on camera. The movement is subtle but undeniable, something solid enough to block the light, yet too dark and undefined to make out clearly. Some believe this figure could explain the blood on the camera, but there is no proof, no context, and no way to know what really happened out there, leaving only the footage and a lot of unanswered questions. Darwin and two of his friends were exploring an abandoned building that locals had warned them about for years, a place with a reputation for unexplained activity and people leaving early out of fear. They were filming casually at first, laughing it off until the mood shifted fast.
¿Ya está grabando? Ya vamos. ¿Estamos activos? ¿Pilosos?
Por si acaso voy a sonar. Oye, suenan unos tacos, amigo. Oye, suenan unos tacos, loco. Aguanta, mira, mira. Aguanta. Que ya se detuvieron. Verga, ¿sí escuchaste? Sí, chucha. ¿Escuchaste? No son los tacos de ese día del baño. Aguanta, aguanta. No sé.
Hijo de puta.
Mira, marico. Parece que hay algo arriba. Mira los tacos otra vez. Sí, espera. Vámonos, que chucha, vamos a ver. Déjame llevar una piedra por si me tiene un piedrazo, loco.
Oye, pero ¿y si es una verga, güey?
Ah.
Bueno, si es un fantasma, no una verga, ¿cómo hacerlo?
No se le bota la escalera abajo.
¿Qué chucha es eso, güey?
Suena como que boteta, me van a botar.
Sí, güey. Andy. Ven.
Ven, güey, ven. Pero, por si acaso es algo malo, loco. Aguanta, eso. Si es bautizado, güey.
Sí, creo.
Quiere traerlo amarrado, loco.
Oye, se están culeando al lado.
Oye, no digas eso, es que ese video van a ver todos en común.
Oye, no jodas. No jodas.
No importa si le metimos. Oye, para mí que están golpeando alguna casa, loco.
Oye, pero al lado no hay nadie, tú eres loco.
¿Escuchaste?
No, Malone, escuché. Pero no hay nadie al lado, pues cómo van a estar golpeando.
Claro, si acaso no así. Ven.
Espérate.
¿Escuchaste?
Sí. ¿Qué carajo es eso?
Mira, como mi parte de acá. de este cuarto. Y solo estamos los dos. Ven, ven. Entramos primero, güey. No, tú eres loco, güey. Entramos primero, loco. Deja ver si no hay nada en este cuarto. No, no hay nada. Ya se cayó, ya se fue, creo. ¡Uy! ¡Oye, cállate! No grites. Oye, mira, la puerta está abierta. Escuchamos que cerró una puerta, ¿te acuerdas? Deja ver si me cerraron la puerta de acá atrás. Oye, suena como que siguen caminando por arriba. Vamos. Qué lejos, y si nos sonaron memoria. Oye, suena como que si alguien caminara, pero no se ve nada. Está todo. Oye, mira, mira. Esa puerta, mira. Esa puerta estaba abierta cuando vinimos, ¿te acuerdas? Maricón, ¿escuchaste? Qué bien. Ay, dile que traiga el perro, Andy. Ay, viene de ahí, loco, y si alguien está ahí. Oye, el fantasma de los gringos. Un lindo dice ese man. Haz silencio, Haz silencio, no nos gritarás, ¿verdad? No serás como loco. Verás que tú gritas me putean, a mí me botan del trabajo. Oye, ¿quién golpea, Oye, no hay nadie. No hay nadie, maricón. No hay nadie. Aguanta, suena por aquí algo. Oye. Ven. ¿Se escucha? ¿Qué? Oye, hay algo en ese closet, maricón. Sí, y yo no voy a abrir el closet. Supongo que me sale alguna pendejada.
From somewhere above them, clear footsteps echoed down the stairwell, heavy enough that all three froze and went silent. Then came a sound that didn't make sense, like a rush of wind, but distorted, almost shaped, as if it was being pushed through the building by something alive. More footsteps followed upstairs, pacing back and forth. One of the group tried to stay calm and slowly started climbing the stairs, the others close behind, their flashlights shaking. When they reached the top floor, the footsteps didn't stop. They moved deeper into the darkness ahead of them. As they stepped fully onto the floor, a burst of unsettling, almost demonic laughter rang out, sharp and close enough to make them recoil. A door somewhere nearby suddenly slammed shut, and panic took over as they sprinted out of the building, gasping for air. After a few minutes, they worked up the courage to go back inside, convinced adrenaline had gotten the better of them. But the moment they re-entered, the footsteps started again, just as loud as before. They climbed the stairs one more time, filming everything, but there was still nothing visible. Then a strange voice-like sound echoed through the hall, almost forming the words, "Help me." Seconds later, a door ahead of them slowly creaked open by itself, stopping just a few inches wide. That was enough. Whatever was in that building clearly didn't want them there, and it made sure they knew it. Just as they were about to leave the store for the night, Nick and his co-worker were standing near the entrance, debating whether they should just walk out and grab her keys from the back room later. The lights ahead of them were flickering non-stop, buzzing on and off in a way that felt way too deliberate to be electrical. You can hear the hesitation in both their voices as they start recording, knowing they've dealt with strange things here before.
Okay guys, we were literally just about to leave my store when shit just started flickering again. This is the second time it's happened. My car's over there, and
I'm shaking right now.
Okay, and her keys are in the back.
We need to go. We need to go get my keys.
And the light turned on.
I don't want to go.
Okay, well, I'm gonna literally record this whole thing just so you guys can see what happened. I'm literally so scared. Okay, something. The bathroom light's on too.
Bro, why are my keys on the floor? They were not there. Like, I deadass put them on the desk. Like, oh my god.
This is literally insane.
As they slowly walk toward the back, something on the front counter suddenly slides off and hits the floor, startling both of them. They freeze in place for a moment, unsure if they should keep going, but the woman advances because she needs her keys from the kitchen. They push forward even though neither of them wants to. When they finally reach the kitchen doorway, they realize the situation has only gotten worse. Random objects are scattered across the floor, like something had been tossing things around when nobody was in there. Nothing is moving now, the lights aren't flickering back here, and no one else is inside the store. But the aftermath is clear as day. Whatever was acting up wasn't finished until they came to see it. And Nick's expression says it all. This store has something in it, and it wasn't happy they tried to leave. In the direct continuation of their video, Nick and his co-worker are now sitting in the back room, huddled around the security monitors while trying to figure out what to do next. They're already nearly 50 minutes past the end of their shift, too scared to walk through the store again, but too nervous to stay inside any longer. As Nick walks around to show something they missed earlier, a thud happens right beside him off-screen, like something had just been thrown across the room. They both jump instantly, backing away from one another while in panic.
Okay guys, we've been sitting in the back for like 20 minutes now, and we're just watching the cameras and stuff is still flickering and going on, but nothing happened back here, and we need to go home, and this is so freaking terrifying.
We're 50 minutes past our shift because of this shit.
We closed at 10, so we need to like, it's so dark because all the light switches are over here.
Stop it, go.
Okay, this is what I mean. This room is over. This is.
Oh my god.
This is what we're dealing with.
Oh my god, yeah. What? Bro, Nick, did you on purpose? You fake this? No, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, Nick.
Stop! You're literally. Are you?
No, wait, no. Nah.
No. We literally looked away for like 2 seconds.
Eventually, they decide they can't stay in the building, so they head outside to wait for the manager. Standing by the front windows, they keep an eye on the dark store through the glass, filming just in case anything else happens. That's when the lights above the front counters begin to sway back and forth, slow but deliberate, as if something inside was pacing beneath them. Nobody's in the building now, the AC is off, and the doors are locked. Yet the fixtures keep swinging overhead like someone is still walking around in there. Nick's co-worker started saying she's done coming in for late shifts after the recording, and Nick doesn't even argue. After everything they just watched happen, it's pretty clear the store isn't empty at all. A few days later, Nick is back on shift, this time during the daytime when the store should feel a lot less eerie. But the moment he starts recording, it becomes obvious that whatever's been happening hasn't stopped at all.
Okay, we're gonna peace out for the night. Okay, we're gonna peace out for the night. I can't even put the key in. This is what we deal with at Swirls and Twirls, and no one believes us because who would? Who really would? And the backlight's still on.
This place is fucking possessed by a demon, so
No, the light's still on.
Like, which one?
I don't think we turned it off though, but now the machine lights are on. Good. This is great. This is great. Okay guys, I'm here alone. It's a few days later, and it's 6 o'clock. I'll show you the time. The lights are freaking flickering again. The music is being wacky. The speakers are in the ceiling. Like, this is literally insane. And now they stopped. And now they're like, this is what I mean. Nothing. Like, I don't know how to explain this. The switch is right here.
The overhead lights are flickering again, brightening and dimming in quick bursts even though the weather's calm, and the power in the rest of the building is perfectly steady. As he walks through the kitchen, you can hear the store's music cutting in and out, switching itself off for a few seconds before randomly coming back on at full volume, like someone is messing with the system behind the scenes. Nick keeps panning the camera around to show that he's alone up front. No customers and no co-workers near the switches or speakers. The atmosphere feels completely wrong for the middle of the day, almost like the store is trying to prove that time doesn't matter. Whatever made the late night shift so terrifying is still here, still active, and now it isn't even waiting for the dark. Nick seems very frightened a little near the end, and he later says he doesn't get paid enough for this. And honestly, after everything that's happened, he might be right. Here's the smooth, seamless continuation in your exact TS format, with the transitions flowing naturally into the previous clips. From the woman's perspective now, the video switches to her filming as she and Nick sit together in the back room, scrolling through the CCTV footage to make sense of everything. She explains how, earlier that night, one of the chairs in the front seating area randomly fell over, and the lights all across the store were flickering at the same time, almost like the whole building was reacting to something they couldn't see. They're both pointing at the monitor, talking quietly about which camera angle to check next, when suddenly, a strange noise echoes from somewhere outside the room. It's loud enough to cut their conversation short instantly. They freeze, stare at each other, and within a second, both get up and run out of the office in panic, leaving the camera pointed at the floor.
Hey, it's 11:29. Me and Nick were supposed to leave here at 11 o'clock, but weird shit is happening.
A chair fell. There's lights flickering on the machines.
There is lights flickering everywhere.
A chair fell.
It's freaking me out.
I mean, what the f is that? There's actual footsteps going on in the ceiling right now, and something just fell over here. Is anyone there?
I'm scared. Oh, stop! Stop! Oh my god! Stop!
The footage then cuts directly to the CCTV from earlier that night, showing the exact moment the chair fell. There's no one around it, nothing touching it, and the fall is so sudden it looks like it had been yanked. Right after that, the video switches to handheld footage again, now from the woman's phone, as she joyfully walks through the store. As she approaches the front counter, something crashes loudly to her right. She swings the camera over, and the cash register that had been sitting up on the counter is now on the floor, tipped over on its back like it was pushed hard. She gasps instantly. This entire chain of events makes it obvious that whatever is in the store isn't tied to the time of day, the number of people around, or whether anyone is watching. It shows itself whenever it wants to, and this time it was making sure both of them saw it. A man named Joseph had been dealing with strange noises coming from his bathroom for a few days, so he finally decided to set up a camera facing the bathroom door to see if he could catch anything on film. He explained that he'd leave it rolling for a few hours while he relaxed in bed, hoping the noises would happen again. Take a look.
So I've been hearing some strange noises coming from this bathroom. And so I'm going to set up this camera to record and see if we catch anything. I've never caught anything on camera before, so I'm hoping that this might be the first time, but kind of sounds like scratches.
For almost an hour, nothing unusual happens, just the quiet hum of the house and the faint reflection of the hallway lights on the bathroom mirror. But then, without any warning, as the man enters his room after getting a drink, a dark shadow suddenly enters the frame. It appears on the right side of the mirror, shaped unmistakably like a human figure peeking into the bathroom. It pauses for a brief moment, almost as if watching, then quickly pulls back out of view as if it realized it had been caught. Joseph wasn't in the bathroom, nobody else was in the house, and the angle of the camera makes it clear this wasn't a trick of the light. Something had approached that doorway, looked inside, and retreated. Whatever had been making those noises wasn't imaginary at all, and now he finally had proof it was watching him. In the follow-up clip, he explains that people kept asking for an update after the incident, so he decided to film again to show exactly what had been happening. He starts in the bathroom with the camera pointed around the small space, proving there is nothing hiding behind the door or in the shower, before he switches the light off, saying the spirit never seems to like it when the room is bright. He then walks out and sits down on the small couch across from the hallway, the house silent, except for his breathing as he keeps the camera aimed at the doorway where the shadow had appeared the night before. He tries to sound calm, almost joking, and jokingly says peekaboo toward the dark corridor.
All right, guys, so you wanted an update. So here is the shower. That's where the cat goes to the bathroom, so nobody's in there. Nobody's in the bathroom. Nothing's behind the door. All right, we're turning the light off because it doesn't like the light. Here's my fiance.
I don't want to be on camera.
Okay.
I don't think we should be engaging it.
It's fine. It hasn't done anything. It's not really being too, like, creepy or anything. It just does. So, we've been playing peekaboo. Peekaboo!
A second later, something steps fully into view. A tall shadow shaped unmistakably like a person moves into the doorway, perfectly outlined yet completely black, as if absorbing the light around it. He gasps and jerks back in the seat before it disappears when the clip ends. There is no sound of footsteps, no breathing, no retreating movement. Whatever was haunting him had finally shown itself clearly. In the third part of Joseph's saga, he starts the video by admitting he might have messed up by provoking whatever is in his home with the last peekaboo clip. He sounds nervous this time, the camera shaking slightly as he stands in the bedroom. He explains that ever since the shadow stepped into view, things in the bathroom have gotten noticeably worse, and he hasn't been able to sleep properly. Then, right as he's talking, the sounds begin.
Okay, guys. I think I fucked up a little bit. You hear that? What the f is that? Charlie, the cat's right here. She doesn't seem to be worried about it.
A slow creaking echoes from inside the bathroom, the unmistakable sound of cabinet doors being tugged or pushed from the inside. Joseph seems very scared, and the noise continues in short bursts, like something is testing them. To prove nothing living could be responsible, he pans the camera down to show his cat sitting curled next to him on the bed, wide awake and staring toward the hallway. Joseph points out that the cat has been with him the entire time, and clearly isn't the one making the noise, and I should add that it's especially since it refuses to go anywhere near the bathroom now. The creaking grows louder for a moment, then stops abruptly, leaving the entire apartment silent again. Joseph knows that he definitely pissed the spirit off, and he's starting to think filming was a mistake. Whatever had revealed itself in the doorway last time now seemed to be actively moving things in the bathroom, and the tension in the air made it clear this haunting was far from over. In the final part of Joseph's saga, he decides he's had enough. The sleepless nights, the shadow figures, the noises from the bathroom, all of it had pushed him to the edge. And this time, he stands directly in the doorway, holding the camera out in front of him. His voice is shaky, but he tries to sound firm as he tells the spirit that it needs to leave, saying they are done with its bull and that it is no longer welcome in his home. He barely finishes the sentence when everything shifts for the worse.
All right. I appreciate all the well wishes. I haven't been getting great sleep lately. I don't know if it's because of this, but I'm going to take your advice. It's been slamming the doors again this morning. I'm just gonna tell it to get the out of here, okay? All right, this is it. You are not welcome here. You need to leave. We are done with your bullshit. We are not gonna take it anymore, okay? You need to get the out. No, this is so bullshit.
A deep, guttural growl erupts from inside the dark bathroom, low enough to rattle the doorframe, and before he can even process what he heard, the bathroom door slams shut with terrifying force right in front of him. Joseph jumps back, swearing under his breath, but still forces himself to grab the handle and push the door open again. Inside, the bathroom is completely empty. No movement, no noise, nothing that could have caused the growl or the slam. The tension in his voice is obvious as he steps all the way in, panning around the room to prove there is no one hiding. The air feels heavier than before, and he admits on camera that he and his cat have been avoiding this room altogether. After this final encounter, Joseph says they're both seriously considering moving out. Whatever is in that bathroom made it clear it wasn't going anywhere, and now it wasn't afraid to show its anger. Grace was home alone when she decided to start filming a door in her house after feeling like something was watching her from the hallway. The house was completely quiet. No TV, no music, no open windows, which only made the tension worse. She keeps the camera steady, half joking but clearly nervous, waiting to see if anything happens at all.
Oh my god. What is happening? Can't move it again. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh god. Can you close it please? Okay.
After a few seconds, the door slowly cracks open on its own before gently pulling itself shut again. Grace gasps and immediately tells whatever it is to do it again, her voice shaking as she backs up slightly. This time, the response is far more unsettling. The door begins to open much wider, nearly 3/4 of the way, inch by inch, as if something unseen is standing on the other side, carefully pushing it open. It pauses for a moment, almost like it's aware of her watching, then slowly closes itself once more. There's no rush of air, no footsteps, no explanation. After the clip ends, Grace said she left the room immediately and didn't go back down that hallway for the rest of the night. She later admitted this was the first time something in her house seemed to directly respond to her voice, and that realization scared her more than the door moving on its own. In this next clip, Leighton and 2 of his friends were just messing around outside, filming casually while throwing a bouncy ball back and forth. It's light-hearted at first, nothing serious at all, until one of them accidentally loses control of the ball and it rolls off out of view. The friend who dropped it jogs over to grab it while Leighton keeps the camera pointed in that direction.
The camera ready? Yeah, dude, I got the camera, alright?
I'm gonna knock the ball out of that guy's hand.
Alright, go.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
What? Oh shit, what the hell?
As the kid turns the corner to retrieve the ball, something completely unexpected happens. Out of nowhere, what looks like a human hand suddenly reaches out from around the corner and touches him. It's quick, but clear enough to see, fingers brushing against his arm before instantly pulling back out of sight. The kid jumps in shock and stumbles backward, yelling as Leighton instinctively rushes forward with the camera. He whips around the corner where the hand came from, expecting to see someone hiding there, but there's nothing. No one standing there, no place anyone could have ducked into fast enough. The area is completely empty. The moment was so sudden and so physical that it left all 3 of them panicking. trying to figure out how a hand could appear without a body attached to it. Whatever touched him wasn't visible for more than a split second, but it was real enough to send them all running moments later. In the following video, Tim, a night security guard who's worked at the same building for years, finally decides to start recording after insisting the place has always felt off. He mentions that strange things usually happen during power outages, and unfortunately for him, this night was no exception.
Hello?
As he films one of the mannequins standing motionless in the dark hallway, faint noises suddenly echo behind him. Tim turns around, shining his flashlight just in time to catch something truly unsettling. An uncanny, human-shaped figure is seen in the darkness, its arms stretched out unnaturally, and its face completely swallowed by shadow. The moment Tim calls out hello, trying to make sense of what he's seeing, the figure silently slides backward and disappears into the pitch black. He quickly swings the flashlight toward where it stood, but there's nothing there at all. No doors, no hiding spots, just empty space. As if that wasn't enough, another noise comes from behind him, back near the mannequin he was filming moments earlier. Tim slowly walks back toward it, clearly shaken, and without warning, he punches the mannequin. The blackout, the figure, and the timing make this one of the creepiest encounters he's ever recorded, and it's hard to argue that something wasn't watching him that night. Smith had been completely alone in the house when they first heard something weird, a clear voice calling their name from downstairs. At first they ignored it, telling themselves it was just their imagination, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Eventually, they grabbed their phone and started recording before heading down to see what was going on.
I'm sick of this shit now.
The camera shows them entering the kitchen first, slowly panning around to prove everything looks normal. The lights are on, nothing is broken, nothing out of place. Still uneasy, they walk into the living room and sit down, trying to calm themselves and listen. That's when it happens. A few loud bangs echo through the house, close enough to make them jump. Instinctively, they rush back into the kitchen, filming the entire way. When they step inside, the scene has completely changed. The fridge door is wide open, even though it was clearly closed moments earlier, and one of the kitchen chairs is now sitting up on the counter, balanced in a way that makes no sense. Smith stops dead, breathing heavy, clearly realizing this wasn't just a noise or a trick of the mind. Whatever called their name had followed them downstairs, and it wanted to be noticed. Back in the living room, Smith keeps the camera aimed at a teddy bear, clearly shaken, but determined to document whatever is happening next. The room is quiet again, almost too quiet, and he slowly pans across the furniture, trying to show nothing has changed since the kitchen incident. That's when the camera settles on a teddy bear standing by the TV, dressed in a small Batman outfit, something that had been there for years without ever moving. As he watches, the bear begins to shift on its own, not falling suddenly, but slowly tipping forward, inch by inch, as if an unseen hand is pushing it. Smith gasps and steps back, in disbelief, as the bear leans further and further. The clip cuts just before it hits the floor, but the movement is unmistakable, deliberate, and controlled. After everything that already happened downstairs, this felt like confirmation that whatever was in the house wasn't done yet, and was now moving things right in front of him. The basement is the most likely place in a house to be haunted, and after what happened the night before, Smith was already on edge when things started again the very next day. He starts filming as loud, heavy banging echoes from the basement door, each knock slow and deliberate, like someone was trying to be let in. The camera stays fixed on the door as the banging continues, filling the hallway with a deep, hollow sound. Smith takes a shaky breath and glances away for just a few seconds, clearly debating whether to leave or keep watching. In that brief moment when the camera isn't on it, the basement door suddenly swings open on its own, slowly but completely, revealing the dark stairwell below. There's no rush of air, no one on the other side, just an open doorway leading straight down into darkness. Smith freezes, stunned, then steps closer to show there's nothing behind the door and nothing forcing it open. After the fridge incident, the chair on the counter, and the teddy bear moving on its own, this felt like escalation. Whatever was in the house wasn't just making noise anymore. It was opening doors, almost inviting him to come closer. This one takes place in a house David and his wife already believe is haunted, and that detail matters because she has known about it for a long time, while David still treats it like something he can face head-on. One night they hear rapid banging coming from the attic, sharp and aggressive enough that it immediately feels intentional rather than structural noise. David grabs the tool meant to open it and pulls the ladder down, and as soon as it drops, the sound changes into what feels like stomping above them. Heavy movement pacing back and forth until it suddenly stops. David decides to climb up anyway, trying to stay calm, but right as he reaches the top, another loud bang hits, and the attic erupts with scattered noises all around him.
Então é assim, eu estou a filmar, eu estou farta de ouvir barulhos. Já há alguns dias que ando a ouvir barulhos e não consigo nunca perceber de onde é que eles vêm. Eu estou-me a passar porque eu não consigo dormir, eu estou cheia de medo e eu decidi hoje filmar isto porque eu tenho a certeza que se passa alguma coisa e se acontecer alguma coisa vai ficar gravado. Opa! Opa! Oh, Nuno! Eu estou a dar. Calma. Desculpa. Opa! Por que abriste isso? Opa, ainda por cima não foste tu que apagaste a luz. Desculpa. Vais fazer, tu vais lá acima sozinho. Eu vou lá contigo. Opa, tem cuidado. Opa! Não, tu não vais lá sozinho. Ai. Opa, olha, vai lá tu, toma, eu fico aqui, desculpa, não consigo, desculpa, eu estou cheia de medo, a sério, vai lá tu, mas tem cuidado, está bem? Olha aí, opa, tu estás a ouvir?
Espera.
Tem cuidado, vai falando comigo, falas.
Está-se bem.
Fala.
Calma. Estás bem?
Não, vá lá, está tudo escuro aqui abaixo, despacha-te.
Pá, não vejo nada. Aqui me parece. Estás bem aí, Joana? Caraca, o que é isto, meu? Não, nada, está tudo bem,
Estás bem?
Estou bem.
Esquece.
É?
Chamamos a polícia, esquece, anda para baixo.
Não nada à polícia. Não se vê nada aqui, meu.
Anda para baixo, esquece, fica de uma coisa para lá. Anda lá, eu estou aqui à tua espera, eu vou ter que dar a descer.
O que é aquilo? Espera aí.
Não vais?
Não. Cara.
Anda lá, vá. Não estou por ninguém, anda lá. Anda lá, por favor, eu tenho que estar aqui sozinha, anda lá. Eu ajudo a descer, anda lá. Anda lá, anda. Eu ajudo. Cuidado. Anda. Espera aí, eu ajudo a descer. O que é que tu viste? Olha, mas fecha isso, fecha isso, mas não viste alguma coisa? O que é que tem acontecido? Vamos chamar a polícia. Isto não é normal, eu ando a ouvir isto há dias.
His wife hands the camera to him so he can film while he looks around, and even though the sounds continue, he cannot see anything unusual at first. Then a bag sitting beside a stack of boxes behind him begins to shake, something we do not see but clearly hear, and the movement startles him enough that he spins around and immediately starts climbing back down. As he reaches the bottom, an uncanny figure briefly peeks down from the attic opening before hiding again, completely unnoticed by either of them as David shuts the attic door and the house falls quiet. A man named Roger was using a public restroom when something genuinely unsettling happened in the middle of an otherwise normal moment. He had just flushed the toilet and was getting ready to leave when he suddenly heard the sound of a stall door opening and then closing somewhere nearby. Thinking someone else had walked in, he listened for footsteps, but there were none. That's when he pulled out his phone and started recording. He lowers the camera toward the bottom of the cubicle wall, trying to catch movement beneath the stalls, but the restroom looks completely empty. No shoes, no shadows, nothing at all. Still uneasy, Roger decides to step out of the cubicle to check the door directly. As soon as he turns the corner and points the camera at it, the stall door violently slams shut on its own, echoing through the restroom. Roger yelps in shock and immediately runs out, clearly terrified. There was no one else inside, no breeze, no automatic mechanism that could explain it. Whatever opened and closed that door waited until he was right there to make itself known. The following clip begins with loud, repeated banging echoing through the apartment, sharp enough to jolt the person filming upright from the couch beside the bed. It sounds deliberate, like something hitting a wall or door over and over, and after a moment of hesitation, they decide to investigate.
All right, let's investigate.
Camera in hand, they move through the apartment, checking nearby rooms, the hallway, even the front door, but everything is exactly as it should be. No movement, no open doors, no explanation for the noise they just heard. The banging has completely stopped, leaving behind an uncomfortable silence that feels heavier than the sound itself. After finding nothing, they head back toward the bedroom, clearly trying to convince themselves it was just a random noise. But as soon as they step back inside, the tension returns. The room feels different now, quieter, in a way that feels intentional, almost like whatever caused the banging is waiting. After ending the video, they pause near the couch, scanning the space slowly, listening for any hint of it starting again. Nothing does, at least not on camera, but the way they hesitate before sitting back down says enough. The banging may have stopped, but the feeling that something followed them back into the room never really goes away. James had already been dealing with strange activity in his house for days, which is exactly why he had his phone ready when this moment happened. He starts recording as the door handle in front of him begins shaking violently, rattling back and forth with force that clearly isn't normal. The handle suddenly twists on its own, and the door swings fully open, revealing the room beyond it. You can hear James breathing heavily behind the camera, frozen in place as he tries to process what he's seeing. Just as quickly, the door slowly shuts itself again, clicking into place. For a brief second, everything goes quiet, almost like it's over, but then the handle moves again. The door opens a second time, wider than before slamming shut once more as if whatever was doing it was toying with him. James later explained that this wasn't an isolated incident, and that similar things had been happening regularly in that room, which is what pushed him to finally film it. Seeing the door open and close repeatedly with that kind of force, and hearing the panic in his breathing, makes it clear this wasn't staged. Whatever was on the other side of that door clearly wanted to be noticed. Late at night, two friends were standing in the hallway of a house that had already been making them uneasy when they decided to finally check the attic. Ali stood directly beneath the hatch, holding the long stick used to pull it open, while his friend filmed from a few steps back. Heavy banging could be heard coming from above, loud and deliberate, not like animals or loose pipes, but slow, forceful knocks that seemed to respond to their presence.
Escucha, hágale suavecito. Espere, hágale.
Ali hesitates for a moment before pushing the attic door upward with the stick. As it creaks open, the darkness above fills the frame, and then something horrifying appears. An uncanny face suddenly becomes visible in the opening, pale and unnatural, staring straight down at them from the attic. It doesn't speak or move much, but its presence alone is enough. The moment they realize what they're looking at, both of them panic. The camera jolts violently as they turn and sprint away, shaking shouting in fear as the attic door slammed shut behind them. The footage was cut shortly after, but Ali later claimed neither of them went back up there that night. No one else was supposed to be in the house, and whatever looked down at them from that attic was never seen again. After weeks of dealing with things he couldn't explain inside the house, Tanner finally decided he needed some air and a break from whatever had been going on. He stepped outside with his phone, filming casually while talking to the camera about how tense everything had been lately, saying he just wanted to clear his head. The area around him looked empty and quiet, and nothing seemed out of place at first.
Hey guys, so I decided to just get out of the house today. I think it's probably good for me to keep my mind off of things and just maybe not think about it so much. I'm starting to feel paranoid, like the only place I feel safe is at my house, and I don't really think that that's healthy, so I decided to just get out today. Thanks you guys to anyone who reached out to me. I'm doing fine, I just feel a little uneasy when I leave the house, but other than that, I'm doing good.
As Tanner continues walking and talking, the camera briefly pans past a long corridor far behind him. In that moment, barely noticeable unless you're really looking, an uncanny girl-like figure can be seen standing still in the distance, watching from the shadows. Tanner doesn't react at all and keeps walking, completely unaware that anything is there. The figure doesn't move, doesn't wave, and doesn't follow. It just stands there before slipping out of view as the camera shifts again. It wasn't until Tanner posted the video that people in the comments started pointing it out, timestamp after timestamp, all saying the same thing. Whatever that figure was, it appeared right after he left the house to escape the activity inside, making it feel like whatever had been haunting him hadn't stayed behind at all. Three friends were standing in the water together, laughing and getting ready to take an underwater selfie together, the camera already recording as they counted down and hyped each other up. It all felt normal at first, just another casual moment caught on video. As they prepare to dive in, a fourth figure suddenly appears behind them in the frame. It looks like a person standing just a few steps back, close enough that there's no way they could have slipped away unnoticed. The friends don't react at all, clearly unaware that anyone else is there. Seconds later, the three of them dive forward into the water together, splashing out of frame. But the strange part is what happens next. The fourth person never moves, never steps aside, and never exits the shot. When the camera steadies again, there's no one behind them at all. No swimmer surfacing, no footsteps, no disturbance in the water that would explain where that person went. Viewers slowed the footage down frame by frame, and there's no point where the figure can be seen leaving. It's as if they were never really there to begin with. The clip ends shortly after, but that unexplained extra person has left people convinced something impossible wandered into the shot for just a few seconds. At around 2 in the morning, just as Abdullah was about to turn off the lights and go to sleep, loud banging suddenly erupted from his apartment door, sharp enough to make him freeze in place. Confused and half asleep, he pulled out his phone and started recording to catch this.
It was around 10 a.m. I was going to turn off lights and ready to sleep, and then this happened again. So I heard my voice again after a month.
तुम्हें ये क्या है? तुम्हें भूख लगी या खाना खाओ, मेरे पीछे तंग मत करो। नीचे जा खाना खाओ फ्रिज में। मैंने नहीं खोलना इसे।
From the other side of the door, a voice could be heard begging to be let inside, repeating itself over and over, saying it was hungry and wanted to eat something. The tone didn't sound muffled like someone in the hallway, it sounded close, almost pressed against the door itself. Abdullah responds, firmly telling it no, that it can't come in. Almost instantly, the voice changes, becoming aggressive, and the knocking grows louder and faster, slamming against the door in bursts like whoever, or whatever, was getting angry. After a few tense seconds, the noise stops completely. Trying to prove to himself it was nothing, Abdullah opens the door and steps into the hallway, filming as he looks left and right. The corridor is completely empty, silent and still. No footsteps, no people, no sign that anyone had been there at all. He quickly retreats back inside and locks the door, later saying this was the moment he realized whatever was knocking didn't need to be seen to feel real. Just a day later, Abdullah found himself home alone again, still shaken from what happened the night before, but trying to convince himself it was a one-off. This time, the apartment door was already open as he moved around the house, and everything felt quiet enough to forget about it for a moment. That didn't last.
I was alone at home, so they started mimicking me again.
So, I heard someone is calling me, but I'm alone in my home. Like, मेरे घर में कोई भी नहीं है अभी. कौन? रोहान तुम हो? क्या हुआ? हाँ? तुम नीचे आओ. तुम नीचे आ जाओ रोहान. नीचे क्यों नहीं आना? क्यों? बकवास बंद करो अपनी. कौन था? बोलो. रूम में है ना कोई? मेरी एक बार अपने जेल में. Okay, bye. I don't know what it is, but okay, bye.
From somewhere upstairs, a voice suddenly echoes down toward him, clear and deliberate, telling him to come up and get back to work. Abdullah freezes when he realizes the voice sounds exactly like his own. Before he can react, it changes again, perfectly mimicking his brother's voice instead, calling his name the same way his brother always does. The switch is instant and unsettling, like whatever it is knows them both. Abdullah shouts back, telling it to keep its mouth shut, his voice shaking more than he wants to admit. Immediately after that, everything goes silent. No footsteps, no movement, nothing at all. Trying to prove to himself it's not real, he runs upstairs with his phone still recording, checking every room along the way. Of course, there's nobody there. Later, Abdullah said the silence was worse than the voice because it felt intentional, like whatever was speaking chose to stop only after he confronted it. For anyone new here, Ian is a Midwest-based ghost hunter who's been investigating abandoned and reportedly haunted locations for years, most famously, an old factory he keeps returning to because of how consistently active it's been. He's captured unexplained footsteps, distant knocks, and objects moving in this place before, which is why this next clip matters so much.
If there's anyone up here, could you make a sound? Sound like it came from in there. Is anybody in there? Looks like an old creepy piano. Oh God. That's creepy. Hello? Ooh, that was loud. Hearing thumps and bangs all throughout this place. Oh my God. Okay, just calm down. It is a freaky atmosphere up here.
Ian is standing alone inside the factory again, filming the second floor and calmly asking if anyone is up there, requesting that whatever's present make a sound. Almost immediately, a loud bang echoes from a nearby room. Ian heads straight toward it, calling out as he goes, but when he reaches the room, it's completely empty, except for an old, dust-covered piano sitting against the wall. No signs of anyone, nowhere to hide. As he's taking it in, another knock rings out, this time closer, then another and another. Each one sounds deliberate, like a response rather than random noise. Ian keeps the camera steady, clearly unsettled now, slowly turning in place to show there's still no one around him. The factory stays silent between the knocks, making each one feel intentional, almost conversational. It's moments like this that keep pulling him back to this location, because whatever is in that factory doesn't just make noise, it answers. In the following video, a group of innocent people were trying to make sense of what they're seeing after the atmosphere in the room completely changed. The door was shaking earlier, and the second they started recording, it suddenly goes still, almost like whatever was there was listening.
So we are all sitting here, enjoying our Taco Bell, right? And Ghost Malone was over there shaking the door a second ago. Ghost Malone, if you are still around, do something.
Give us a sign.
Oh, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Look at her.
Nonchalant. Alright, so ironically, I'm watching Ghostbusters, right? Ghost Malone. Ghosty. Yo. Are you kidding? Alright, so I've been asking Ghost Malone some questions. Okay, so one time if you're there, 2 times, or I guess no times if you're not. Definitely there, okay. Are you friendly? Okay, okay. Do you like Ghostbusters? No? Okay, do you like movies? Okay, okay. And just on Ghostbusters, I guess it's insulting. Are you here to cause harm? Okay. Okay. Man, I wish I knew Morse code. We'd try that. Are you an older spirit? Okay, but not a bad spirit. Okay. Is there more than one of you? Oh, okay.
One of them nervously asks if it's still around, and that's when a small child's toy car slowly rolls across the floor on its own, stopping just as quickly as it started. The mood flips from laughter to shock instantly. They begin talking to it calmly, asking simple questions, and almost immediately, a painting on the wall starts to move, tilting forward and lifting slightly, as if being pushed from behind. Realizing it might be responding, they start using the painting as a way to communicate, asking yes or no questions, and watching it shift each time. Over the course of the clip, they figure out whatever is there doesn't seem hostile, just curious, and oddly specific, reacting negatively when Ghostbusters is mentioned, but calming down again moments later. By the end, they're convinced this isn't just one presence either, since the ghost claimed to have an accomplice. People were quick to question why everyone seemed so calm during the first encounter, almost accusing them of downplaying what happened. Instead of arguing back, the man behind the camera decided to do the opposite and returned to the room alone to see if whatever was there would respond again.
So, a couple weird things have happened tonight, like my mom's painting over there has moved, and Ghosty, Ghost Malone. You there? Don't judge the trash. It's trash day. Ghosty. Okay. Maxie, what was that? Huh? So we're sitting here. Revelation here, is it?
Hi, Maxie.
It should also be noted that we've had several offers from paranormal people to come here and whatnot. We're down, but there's been a few of them that are private profiles, minus the big ones you guys have suggested. Nobody's reached out, but I don't know. I might take offers for people to just come stay the night so you can see whether it's real or not for yourself. I don't know. But yeah, I am gonna take a list of questions. I've been writing down in the comments all the questions you guys have for Ghost Malone. And then we're going to do the Stranger Things light or dog button things to see if that does anything.
The house is quiet now. No nervous laughter, no group energy, just him speaking carefully into the empty space, asking if the presence is still around. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, without warning, a large baby playpen sitting across the room begins to slide across the floor on its own. It moves slowly but deliberately, scraping loudly as it shifts several feet with no one touching it. The man backs away in shock, clearly shaken now that there's no one else there to share the moment with. He later explained that this wasn't an isolated event either. Multiple paranormal investigators have since visited the house, documenting repeated activity and ruling out natural causes. Despite their efforts, nothing has stopped what's happening. And the family has made it clear that if the experts can't put an end to it, they're moving out for good. Whatever is in that house clearly has no interest in being ignored, no matter if it has good intentions. Moving into a new house is already daunting enough, but for Kyle, that feeling didn't last long at all. He'd only just bought the place and was walking through it for the first time properly, filming on his phone while the rooms were still empty and undecorated. It was meant to be a simple walkthrough, nothing dramatic, just getting familiar with the layout, but the house clearly had other plans.
I was moving into my new house. I was alone, and this happened. Good luck to me.
As Kyle pans down the long corridor, the lights begin turning themselves on and off, one by one, flickering in a slow, deliberate pattern that doesn't look like a wiring issue at all. At the far end of the hallway, a door starts to close on its own, inch by inch, until it's almost fully shut. Kyle walks toward it, clearly uneasy, and pushes to open it again. The moment he tries, he pauses. Something on the other side is pushing back. You can hear it in his voice as he strains, confused, wondering if anyone's there. After a few seconds, the resistance suddenly stops, and he manages to force the door open. He steps inside, filming the entire time, only to find an empty room. No people, no animals, no explanation. For a house that was supposed to be a fresh start, it didn't waste any time letting him know he might not be alone there at all. Things only escalate from there.
What the F is going on? Things are going crazy now.
As Kyle moves further into the house, another door suddenly starts rattling aggressively in front of him, shaking in its frame like something on the other side is trying to force its way out. He hesitates, then pushes it open, only to step into the next room and realize it's happening again. This time, a sliding door inside the corridor begins opening and closing by itself, gliding back and forth with no one touching it. The movement is steady and deliberate, not random. Kyle keeps filming, clearly shaken now, when something else catches his eye. A doll sitting in the room shifts on its own. He doesn't touch it, doesn't go near it, but it moves anyway, just enough to make it unmistakable. At that point, the excitement in his voice is gone, replaced with pure unease. Whatever is in this house seems to be reacting to him room by room, almost guiding him deeper inside. For a place he just moved into, the activity is immediate and relentless, and Kyle realizes this new house isn't just unsettling, it might actually be dangerous if he stays. The Martin house has a reputation for child sightings, with locals claiming they've seen figures in the upper windows for years, despite the place being completely abandoned. In this clip, a woman just happens to be driving past when she remembers the stories and decides to pull over and film from a distance, more out of curiosity than anything else.
This is the Martin house. Haunted. Panama City, Florida, my first book. And I'm just driving by randomly. Look in the window. Please, somebody tell me you see what I'm seeing. A child. He supposedly, maybe, we're not sure. Stories have changed over the years. Man went crazy and killed his entire family after finding out his wife was cheating with the servant. Hung the servant on a tree that used to be in the front yard that the hurricane took out. But the stories are that the children can be seen. I see a kid. Fuck.
As she zooms in on the top floor, a small childlike figure can be seen standing in one of the windows, staring outward. What makes it especially unsettling is how unnatural it looks. The figure doesn't move at all, not even slightly, almost like it's frozen in place. There are no lights on inside the house, no signs of anyone living there, and according to locals, nobody has for a long time. The woman stays filming for a moment, clearly confused, before slowly backing away and getting back in her car once the footage ends. Later, people pointed out that the figure looks too realistic to be a decoration, but too still to be a real person, which only adds to the mystery. For a house already known for reports of child apparitions, this sighting just made its reputation even harder to ignore. In this clip, security camera footage from inside a family's room captures something that quickly spiraled from unsettling to outright disturbing. The camera shows the room late at night with no one inside, while small orbs drift through the air, floating in irregular patterns. What makes it stranger is that the camera itself keeps rotating slightly, almost as if it's tracking the movement of the orbs rather than randomly shifting. Each time the camera settles, it keeps landing back on a doll sitting upright on a chair in the corner of the room, and every time it does, the doll appears to have changed position just slightly. Its head tilts, its body slumps, then straightens again in ways that don't look like simple camera glitches. Over the course of the footage, the movements become more noticeable, subtle but intentional enough to raise alarms. The Fodder family said they hadn't touched the doll at all that night, and no one was home when this was recorded. After reviewing the footage and noticing how often the activity seemed centered around it, they didn't want to take any chances. The next day, they removed the doll from the house entirely and threw it out with the trash, saying it felt less like a toy and more like something that was watching back. In the following video, two men are out late at night filming along a quiet road, one of them sweeping a flashlight across the darkness while the other keeps the camera steady. The place feels empty and still until something at the far end of the road catches their attention. It's shaped like a person, standing in a way that looks almost human, but not quite right, too stiff and uncanny to make sense.
No. Sí. Tengo una lamparota super expanded. Ah, bueno, tú tienes tu luz azul. ¿Qué?
Güey, ese es el velador de...
Es el velador, ¿no? Ah, velador. ¡Ey! ¡Velador!
Aguanta, espérate, ey. Shh, no te muevas. No mames, no te muevas ahí. Güey.
¿Velador?
Ese no es el velador, güey.
Güey, no es el velador.
No.
Yo también pensaba que era el velador.
No, aguanta. Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, Deja que mi cámara enfoque bien, güey. Eso no es el velador. No digas perras mamadas, güey. Perdón. ¡Ey! Se me cayó algo, güey. ¿Qué se me cayó? A la verga. Sentí que se me cayó mi cartera, pero no. ¡Hola! No digas cosas. No. Güey, ¿fue aquí? No digas mamadas, güey. Buenas, velador. No mames. Esta madre no pudo haber salido, está con reja. Está con reja, güey. No digas mamadas, güey. Joe. Miren. No digas mamadas, güey.
Yo la vi moverse, güey.
No, Joe. No. No, güey, no mames.
¿Qué fue eso, güey?
No sé.
No mames, güey. No mames.
¿Crees que haya sido ella?
Güey, nos estamos metiendo más adentro, güey, nomás. Banda, comparte.
No mames, güey, no mames.
Parece que los ojos te miran, ¿verdad?
Pareciera, pero no creo, güey. Güey, es que qué pedo, güey. Hola. Tú te moviste. Tú fuiste la que se movió. ¿Es así? No mames, güey.
¿Me voy a acercar tantito?
¿Tú fuiste la que se movió, mujer? A ver, güey.
Siempre dicen que hay que...
Güey, es que era el vestido también así, güey.
¿Verdad?
Amarillo.
Yo pensé que era el velador, te lo juro, hermano.
Yo también, güey.
¿Cómo que me detuviste?
No, güey, no era el velador, mira. Blancanieves.
Blancanieves.
Ay, güey, dime que no era cierto, güey. No mames, güey.
Qué miedo.
Miren. Pero es que, güey, no creo que haya sido ella, güey, mira. Porque no se puede ni sostener esto, güey. Mira, y aparte está muy rompido todo, mira.
Sí, no, o sea, está hecha de fibra de
No mames, güey.
Pero ella no se puede mover.
Sería ella.
No tiene brazo, además.
Güey, porque yo no miro a nadie más, güey.
They zoom in as much as they can, whispering back and forth, trying to work out if it's someone standing there or something else entirely. The figure doesn't move at first, just stays there facing in the right direction, before slowly slipping behind a wall at the edge of the road. Both men panic and sprint forward, convinced they'll catch whoever it is. But when they reach the spot, there's nothing. No footsteps, no place it could have run, nowhere to hide. After searching the area with the flashlight, they finally spot a strange mannequin positioned nearby, its posture eerily similar to what they saw from a distance. Up close, it's completely motionless, just a lifeless prop. Still, The timing and placement make it hard to shake the feeling that something wasn't right, and they leave unsure whether they really saw a trick of the light or something that moved when they weren't close enough to prove it. Steve was out motorbiking alone as daylight started to fade, filming casually as he followed a narrow trail through the wilderness. At first, it just felt eerie in the normal way remote places do at dusk, until he began noticing bones scattered along the path, bleached white and unnaturally clustered. That's when the atmosphere shifted. The forest went dead quiet. No insects, no wind, no distant animals, just the sound of his engine cutting through an uncomfortable silence.
Just wait till the end.
I don't like this at all. Oh god, there's even more bones than last time. Looks like we've already passed it a while ago, but that tree is gone. I'm probably gonna turn around soon. Oh, there's two ways. Holy crap, dude, this trail goes on forever. It just got really quiet really fast. That was my cue to leave.
What was this?
The trail soon split into two directions, and Steve slowed down, hesitating as he tried to decide which way to go. As he angled the camera to the right-hand path, something moves. Crawling out from the bushes is a figure that doesn't move like an animal or a person. Low to the ground, twisted, and disturbingly human in shape. It pauses just long enough to be seen clearly before continuing forward. Steve doesn't wait to understand what he's looking at. He immediately turns the bike around and speeds off the way he came, breathing hard as the forest stays unnaturally silent behind him. He later said he didn't stop riding until he reached a populated road, convinced that whatever he saw wasn't supposed to be out there at all. For the past hour, Christian says he'd been hearing strange knocking sounds coming from his kitchen. Soft at first, but frequent enough that he finally grabbed his phone to record. He walks in slowly, clearly tense, trying to catch whatever has been making the noise.
Hey guys, I've been hearing this really weird knocking coming from my kitchen for like the last hour. What the hell? No way. The hell?
As soon as the camera points toward the cabinets, one of the doors can be seen slowly opening on its own, just a few inches, before gently closing again. Christian freezes, speaking in disbelief as it keeps happening, almost like something testing whether it's being watched. The second he steps closer, the movement stops completely. He reaches out, pulls the cabinet open fully, and shows the inside is empty. No pets, no loose hinges, nothing that could explain it. The knocking doesn't return, but the silence that follows feels even worse. Christian later said this was the moment he realized the sounds weren't random at all, and whatever was in his kitchen only moved when it thought it was alone. Andos was home alone late at night, sitting at his computer when he heard a strange noise coming from somewhere outside his room. At first, it sounded almost like a voice, muffled and distant, the kind of noise you can convince yourself is just a neighbor or something outside. Still, it unsettled him enough that he grabbed his phone and started recording. He steps outside for a moment, scanning the area, then comes back in and slowly walks through the house, checking room after room to prove nothing's there. Everything seems normal, quiet again, almost embarrassingly so. But when he finally enters his parents' bedroom, that calm evaporates. As soon as he steps inside, the wardrobe door ahead of him begins to open on its own, slowly creaking outward, as if someone inside was pushing it. Andos freezes, then backs away, clearly panicking as the door opens with no one near it. He insists nobody else was in the house, and there was no draft strong enough to cause it. After that night, he said he stopped staying in that room altogether, convinced whatever made that noise earlier was waiting for him to come back. In this next clip from the YouTube channel Fourth Wall, which currently has over 268,000 subscribers and focuses entirely on paranormal investigations, the person behind the camera captures a moment that viewers still argue about. He's slowly filming a miniature 3D model on a table that resembles traditional Asian architecture, carefully panning the camera, but he feels heavy and uncomfortable. As he steps closer to the model, something unsettling happens off to his left. A small Buddha statue suddenly tips over and falls straight to the ground without being touched. The sound cuts through the room, instantly changing the mood. He freezes, then turns the camera to show there's nothing near it that could have caused the fall. No vibration, no movement, no one else present. What makes this moment even more disturbing to viewers is the symbolism. Many believe that if a presence is strong enough to knock over a religious figure, especially one associated with peace and protection, it could suggest whatever is there doesn't belong or doesn't want it to be acknowledged. After the clip, the creator admitted the atmosphere in the room felt colder and heavier, and he ended the investigation shortly after. Whether coincidence or something darker, this moment is one of the reasons Fourth Wall continues to trend in the paranormal community. Subscribe as this story will be continuing. In the following video, the man recording keeps the camera steady, zooming slightly as the movement behind the curtain becomes harder to ignore. The shadow paces back and forth with a clear, human-like shape, its head and shoulders briefly outlined as it passes the thin fabric again and again.
Hey, ¿qué pedo? Mamen, si ven eso. ¡Qué verga! Y, o sea, lo cagado es que estoy en un segundo piso.
After a few seconds, he musters the courage to pull the curtain aside, half expecting someone to be standing there, but the space is completely empty. To make things even stranger, he leans out and angles the camera through the window, showing the outside clearly. There's nobody below, no one walking past, no possible reflection. The most bizarre part is that he was on the second floor, meaning whatever cast that shadow couldn't have been outside in the first place. The curtain hangs still now, as if nothing ever moved behind it. The clip ends with him standing there in silence, trying to process how something could walk back and forth behind a curtain without ever actually being there.